Hi.
Hi.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Miata restoration. So we're here with Nick and we're just put it inside and we're debating what to start with. So if you remember in the last episode we took this front end from another car, we split it into pieces, we took the pieces that we can use, fit them to this car, and now they're fitting pretty well, or they need a little bit of adjustment I guess here. But before we put them on the car, I guess we should repair them, right? Because we have rust there, we have rust there. So I think that's what I'm gonna start with. And in the meantime, every time we need to move the car, Nick needs to put air in these two tires here. So I think that they're losing air from around the rim. At least that's what we determined a long time ago. Let's see the rear one. I think this one was losing air from around the rim. Oh, there.
Here? Yeah.
There, you see? It's losing air from here. We're gonna try to take the bead off. We don't have any tools for that, but we're gonna figure out how to do it. Maybe we're gonna do it the Bulgarian style. I'll show you how. And Nick is gonna clean the bead and everything, and we're gonna put air again. Hopefully they're gonna stop losing air. So that's the idea. Look at that. Okay, so we determined that both tires are losing air from around the bead. We already deflated the tire, so there's no air in it, there's no pressure. And now we're gonna use our special equipment for undoing the bead.
That? What is that? Why?
Yeah, but here.
Problem solved.
Yep. All right, so while Nick did the two tires, all I did was I had this template here from the last time, from the last video which we made, which comes here to replace this part. And I cleaned up a piece of metal that I had here, 18 gauge sheet metal, and I marked it. So that was a lot of work. I think we spent like what, 2 hours in the garage, 3 hours, I don't know.
No, more.
More? Well, we took a break.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm tired and I'm done for today. Let's put the tire on and we'll check tomorrow morning and see if we did something or not. Looks like they're holding now. All right, it's another day and I'm busy here with working on this car, but Nick is not busy and he decided to do some work on his Miata. So he is gonna today what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna clean the fenders and remove bondo.
Why do you need to remove bondo?
So we can see what the fenders actually look like without the bondo.
Because here on the inside we can see all this damage to the sheet metal, but on the outside it looks pretty much okay. So you see how much bondo there is here. So Nick is gonna remove all of it in order to see the real condition here, and we'll find out if we can actually repair this. I thought that we were gonna repair only this part here, but turns out that it's been mangled pretty well, so we might need to find another fender, but not before we try to repair this one. So get crack-a-lacking. All right, are you done?
Yeah.
You're done with one or two?
Two.
Oh, two. Where's the other one? Yeah, just break the car, don't worry. Okay, so you're done with this one?
Yeah.
And with this one. This is the one with a lot of bondo on it? Okay, bring it to the table. Let's get rid of the bondo now. There was a little bit of body filler here. So Nicole is just heating it up and just scraping it away. So this fender used to be blue, green, then another green. Okay, let's see what he's gonna discover here in this area. Okay, so it's another day and Nick cleaned up the fenders, and the next project for him was to take everything out of the trunk. And here in the trunk there was a lot of areas where it was rusted, so he rust converted it, like here. He cleaned it up first, he rust converted, and then he sprayed it with, that's actually the original color of the car and I really like it. But he's thinking of painting it green, red, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so there was a cover here, and behind the cover there was a rat's nest, and actually there were baby mice. I was thinking of filming them, but anyways, I'm not gonna tell you where they are now. And by the way, this is what he discovered here. There was a big chunk of fiberglass here, and he removed it, and that's what was inside. So we're gonna have to repair this trunk lid as well. We find more and more with this car. So he's going here on his own while I'm working on this baby. Somehow it's split into pieces now. But that's a subject of another video. So anyways, we also got rid of some wiring that was in the trunk. Put like a security system with, this is a shock sensor and the motherboard, I guess. I don't know. Well, lots of wires for nothing, so we discarded that. We also removed the amplifier. We will see. We're gonna test it. Maybe we can reuse it, but for now we just got rid of all the stupid wiring in the trunk. And these are the wires that were going to the amplifier, so we're gonna pull them out the other direction, and he's gonna have a nice and clean trunk. All right, so it's another day, and with Nick we decided to have a little fun with the Mazda. Nick worked last week on it, but I didn't have time and I worked on something else. Nick just spent some time cleaning up a little bit the engine bay. He needs to clean a lot more, but he's gonna do it eventually. Anyway, so I think now, I don't remember how we ended up last time. Did we end the video? We didn't end the video, I don't know. So I think now we should take this out and line this part, because I remember the last time I worked on the car, we cut it here and we roughly matched it with this part of the body on the other side. this side is better than this side, so maybe we should match this, and then we're gonna be able to bolt it here. Now it doesn't match the holes, you see, it needs to go further in. So if we make those match, we can put the bolts here and here, and that's gonna position it exactly where we want it. And from there we can start repairing this and matching it with that, and etc, etc. So we have to start from somewhere, and I think this is where we should start from. Okay, so we had a snapped bolt here, so we had to drill and tap, and that worked well. So now we were able to bolt here and here the whole cross member in place, and this gives us now the exact position where we should cut the green metal. Even here we need to cut a little bit further. So I'm gonna mark it now, we're gonna remove it again, and we're gonna cut it, and then we're gonna start making the other parts. Okay, so that's our new line where we have to cut, and here as well. And I just need to straighten this part here, you see where it has this, what is it called, like a tip? That's better. So it still needs a little bit of adjustment here. We need to clean underneath so this can drop all the way down. Needs to come lower here so these two can match. This side is matching better now, I believe. I'm gonna have a little bit of a too big gap here at the top, but we can fill it, no problem. But again, we're not gonna weld it now. Let's start repairing the other part so we can match it with this one now. Okay, so in one of the previous episodes we made this template that matches this part here that we need to repair, and we made it so it ends here, but here we need to go further, and here I made a dotted line where this bends down here. So this part we're gonna keep because it has this hole or something that bolts there. We're gonna cut it here and we're gonna go further down. So I don't know if you see the marks, but I already traced it here. I should have moved it a little bit that way, but that's fine. Anyway, so we're gonna cut this here somewhere and we're gonna go up, because that's where we're gonna cut this, but we're gonna go all the way up. Also, I'm debating whether we should make these holes look the same as these. No, we're just gonna bend them a little bit by hand with pliers, just so it creates a little bit of rigidity, but we're not gonna aim into perfection here, because that part is hidden anyways. We put on top the other part. So we don't need it to be perfect. We just need it to be solid. So yeah, here we're gonna cut. We'll see how we're gonna cut it. Let me cut this out first. Okay, so I started cutting this and I cut most of it, and when I was cutting the internal openings I realized that I made a mistake. Actually, I have the bead roller, so I should have made the pressings first and then cut out the center. It was gonna be so much easier. I already started cutting them, but you know what? Still, I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to go on the bead roller and make those. I don't know if it is gonna work, but let's see. So I made some trial runs here. That's from before, that's not from now. Like, this is the sharpest corner I can do. It's gonna be tricky here, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, because this shape, like we said, it's not so important. Before you start telling me these are shearing dies, no, they are not. They are modified shearing dies, so don't judge me. Put it the wrong way. Put the dice the wrong way. I can't go in this direction. Okay. It's something. If I didn't cut it here and here, it was gonna look great. But we will know for the other side anyways. Okay, it's not the best, but it's not too bad. So now let's cut the opening inside and see what it looks like. For the other side, we're not gonna cut anything. We're just gonna mark them and run them, and then we're gonna cut them, and they're gonna look much better. It's pretty ugly, so we're gonna bend them even more with adjustable wrench, and then we're gonna make them the same height everywhere. So that was my initial plan, to do it this way the entire length, but now actually with the bead roller we did it halfway, and now we can finish it with this, so it's still a help. Well, I'm not really proud of the shape, but you know, the task is to be solid, and it is solid. So anyway, so that's what we need to replace, and the outer shape at least fits pretty well. Here we need to cut it more so we can bring it up, but we're pretty close. We need to bend this here. You see it starts from 0 here, and then it goes deeper. Well, it looks like something like this, right? So yeah, it matches pretty well here. So we're gonna cut this something like that later. But here also, when I position it so the top matches, you see here, this is pretty much where it is, and this matches more or less. Maybe we're gonna unbend this, and we're gonna bend it like this actually. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And here too, you see this doesn't match, so this is where it needs to be. So we're gonna unbend this and bend it this way, and unbend this and bend it this way, and we're gonna be golden. Okay, that looks better. So bend it to this line here and to this line here, and now it actually matches pretty well. So here, maybe this one is too deep, but we will see this after we cut it. We can't tell now. And I think that's where we're gonna stop for today, because it's beer time, as you can see. Isn't it obvious that it's beer time? And tomorrow maybe, if Nicolo decides to wake up early, we're gonna mark this exactly where to cut it, and we're gonna weld it. Alright, it's the next day. We're back on the Mazda, as we promised yesterday, and let's finalize this piece here. So before we cut it, here we need to actually deal with something else. You see here how this makes a little bit of a turn. and here as well. So we need to actually stretch a little bit here so we can raise this end up. So here, I don't want to scratch my car, but very little stretching is required. Like this, you see how we raised it a little bit. I think it needs a little bit more in this area. Let's see. That's pretty close. We're gonna have to shorten this flange, of course, later. So we're gonna cut this a little bit more, like this. So we go to the flat part, and then we're gonna clamp it here. We're gonna match these tabs here, and we're gonna mark these holes so we can pre-drill them, and then that's gonna be our guide. These holes are gonna be our guide, exactly where we want to position it. We're gonna mark it, we're gonna cut it, and we're gonna weld it. Okay, so now let's mark exactly where we want to cut it. Of course, it's gonna require a little bit more adjusting once we cut it. Wow, almost like a glove. So we need to move this cut a little bit higher from here to here, because you see it doesn't match here. This bend, I mean. Like this. Okay, that's closer. Okay, I suggest we tuck it like this. We're gonna clean the paint, of course, and we're gonna tuck it like this, just so it can stay here. Then we're gonna do the same on the other side, and then we're gonna fit it on the car, and we're gonna make sure that it is where it belongs, and then we can do the final welding. Okay, we actually decided to put it on the car, match this hole, match these holes here where the spot welds used to be, and this tells us now that we need to adjust it a little bit more. So looks like the first bend that I had was better, but we'll see. I'm just gonna cut it here. We're gonna tuck it here, 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 and then we're gonna bend this down to go where we want it. Okay, first we're gonna match the corner here because it's the most important, and then from there we can align everything else. Okay, now we can take it off. We can adjust this a little bit to match better. Weld that as well. And then we're gonna start doing the same on the other side. Actually lined up pretty good. Now let's cut this here. Here we're gonna have to drill some more spot welds, I believe, if I find them. Yeah, there's one here, because we need to split these two layers. We don't want to cut into the bottom one. I'm gonna have to repair this as well before we weld the other one. Okay, not the best, but it's hidden. We're not gonna put too much effort in areas where it's hidden because we're gonna spend forever here and we don't want to. Okay, so we have it bolted over there where it belongs. This part is bolted as well here, and these holes match. So now we can match this line here, which it matches pretty well. So we can just tuck it in place, and then maybe we can make Nicola weld it while I'm building a part for there. Starts to look like a car again. Alright, we have the piece for the other side, and this time we're gonna use the old piece, the one that we just cut off, like that. But we have to actually mark this line. So we're gonna mark a 1/4 inch out of this now. For here, this line is pretty much the same here, so this is okay. But here, because this doesn't have the flange that goes in, this has the flange that goes in, so we're gonna mark a second line here, just manually, you know, 1/4 inch. Make it a bit more like this. Like these 90-degree corners are not gonna happen for sure, because our dies are not small, but we're gonna make them as square as possible. This we can just flip around and finish it. We made this crooked again. Why? Drives me crazy. All right, so I bent also the flanges on this one, and look at this. It fits like a glove now, almost. So it's still not cut. I just clamped it there. Oopsie. But here the flanges are bent. I bend them a little bit deeper because that I think is a little bit too long now. But that's fine. So it fits well. So I'm gonna start cutting it out now and adjusting it. And Nick, who had to do something inside the house, is finally back. So now he can start welding this. It's a little bit low, I know, but... Alright, so let's see what he's done. So here, I showed him here how to do it. He's done it before, he's welded before, but not sheet metal. I think he welded a little bit more solid metal before. So now on sheet metal it's a little bit tricky. So I showed him here, and then he started from here up, and he did a good job. And here now he came back and he did the horizontal line and another vertical line, and here it is pretty good. The problem is though it's a little bit too low for him, so I was gonna work here, and that's why I kept it on the car, but turns out that now I need to go away for half an hour. So I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna put it on the table for him so he can actually be more comfortable.
I make a hole and then I fix it and then I move the hole.
That's called chasing the hole. You're doing great. You're doing great. Feel the hole. Okay, this sheet metal is the old one and it's a little bit thinner, so it's normal. You know how to fill holes. Keep going, you're doing great. Alright, so I'm back and that's what he's done. He welded it, not too bad as a first time welding sheet metal. Look at the back. Yeah, he didn't penetrate everywhere, but in most of the places he's pretty well. So, yeah, good. I don't know where he is. He disappeared. He practiced a little bit on... I gave him some pieces here to practice. He didn't line them up properly, but anyways, let me start cutting the other side now so he can weld that as well today. Alright, so this is prepared for welding as well. We cut it, we matched it, we tucked it in place, everything matches here. This hole, here it matches where the spot welds were, so we are in a good shape. So I'm gonna take it off the car and I'm gonna put it on the table over there so Nick can weld this side as well. Alright, so he welded it. It's still pretty hot and not a bad welding. I'm actually proud of him. This time he penetrated a little bit more. Not in this area, but it's not bad. Good, so let's grind it a little bit. Let's grind it and see what it's gonna look like after it's ground. So we don't want to grind it too flush because we don't need to. There are some areas where we have to repair. There's holes here and there. Here at the edges we need to repair as well. This one in particular, it's not welded completely. So we're gonna repair those, but in general, I'm proud of him. He did a good job. Here I remember to prime the flanges here inside before I tuck them together. Here I forgot, so now we have to actually open it a little bit. We still can, and we're gonna spray inside. And this is where we're gonna leave it for today. And tomorrow, if we have time again, we can fix those pieces that go on top. Let's see how it fits. It still fits. Looks like a Mazda again. Good job.
Thanks.
You did it yourself. Alright, so that's gonna do it for this video. I think we did a good progress this time. It was a little bit more more like in line, because so far we've been working very randomly on the car, but this time we made a good progress and I'm happy. So thanks for watching, thanks for commenting and subscribing, guys, and stay tuned for more videos on this car. So thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.